My next point is the monitor hypothesis. In this hypothesis, Krashen suggested that students monitor the way they speak and correct themselves as they go. When you're speaking, you'll think about the conjugation that you need, and then you'll produce it instead of automatically producing it in speech. You do this while driving in the way that when you're driving, you watch the style of your driving and the speed of your driving. Most people do this to avoid being stopped by cops, and I think that the motivation for a lot of students doing that is so they don't get stopped by their teacher and have their errors corrected. Another point in second language acquisition that is kind of debated and controversial is the critical period hypothesis, which basically suggests that after a certain point in your life, you can't learn or acquire a language quite the way you would be able to as a child. I personally subscribe to the theory that you can't speak it like a native, but you can still learn a language at any time in your life. You can relate this to a car in the fact that when you have an older car, it doesn't perform optimally the way a new car would. But there are also perks to having an older car, the same as there are advantages to learning a language when you're older, such as being able to identify grammatical structure. And one advantage to having an older car is that it's already paid for. You don't have to worry about your car payments. You just have this car that you can drive, and the only money you have to put into it is fixing it and gasoline. Another point in my second language acquisition theory is that students have individual differences. Nobody learns the language in quite the same way. We might all take a different path to second language city. As you can see on this road, there is a straight path to second language city. But a student might take a left turn and take a detour, but they can still make it to fluency and to being able to know the language. Another difference is the affective filter hypothesis that Krashen suggests. When students are in a classroom or they're learning, the way that they feel affects the quality of their learning. So if a student is anxious, they might put up a block and they wouldn't accept input that is given to them on that particular day or during that particular period of their life. The same can be applied to driving. If you're anxious or nervous about something, your driving might be a little distracted, and it won't be the same as if you're a relaxed, calm driver. You can also see this exemplified in road rage. If somebody becomes more aggressive just by sitting behind the wheel and having to deal with other people on the road, their driving reflects that and becomes more aggressive. One final point that a lot of people overlook when they're thinking about second language acquisition is the cultural aspects of learning a language. When you're learning a language, you're acquiring a second identity. Much like when you get a new car, you have to get used to maybe your gear shift isn't in the center console, it's up by your steering wheel, and you have to kind of get to know the car. You have to get to know the language and the culture, and then it will become sort of an identity, like maybe you're the girl with the pickup truck, and that says something about you because the pickup truck has become part of your identity. So just like there's no perfect car, there's no perfect theory of SLA. Many different theories are put together to make one teacher or one practitioner's philosophy of second language acquisition. Thank you for listening.